Good day all. Hope all of you are fine and in your good health. So today we will learn about types of pipe fittings and piping branch connections. The main points that I will cover in this video presentation are introduction, then what is a pipe fitting, what are the types of pipe fittings, what is a pipe branch connection, and the types of pipe branch connections. For proper functioning of a piping system, pipe fittings as well as branch connections play a very important role. There are various types of pipe fittings and branch connections that constitute a piping, plumbing, or pipeline systems. Different pipe fittings serve different purposes as per the process and layout requirements. Basically, without these pipe fittings and branch connections, a piping system is not complete. So, for proper functioning of the piping system, pipe fittings and branch connections are a must, and knowledge about the same should be known to every piping engineer. Now, what is a pipe fitting? Now, pipe fittings are defined as the piping components, means these are components of piping that help in pipe routing for directional changes, size changes, branch connection, etc. Piping elbows, piping reducers, T connections, OLED connections, caps, crosses, etc. are examples of pipe fittings and widely used in both the piping and plumbing industry. Now, depending on the function of this function, the fittings serve, they are categorized into various groups. Now we will see example of common pipe fittings that are widely used in piping industry. These are piping elbows, piping T connection, piping reducers, unions, couplings, OLEDs, valves, flanges, adapters, cross, wise, cap, plug, long radius bends, expansion joints, steam traps, barb, lock nut, etc. Now in next slides we will learn about these pipe fittings in short. Piping elbow. Piping elbow is a pipe fitting that is used to change direction in a piping system. Means pipe is running in a straight line, then if we want to change the direction, let's assume we want to divert the flow to a 90-degree from the straight run. So in those cases we will be using piping elbows. There is one more term called piping bends. Means piping bends are simply the straight pipes are bent using mechanical equipments, but these are not same as piping elbows. Piping bends are not same as pipe fittings, even though both serve the same function. Piping bends are produced by bending a straight pipe, whereas piping elbow are manufactured as a separate item. Pipe fittings are standardized items manufactured per the ASME B16.9 standard. Piping elbows can be classified depending on various parameters like direction angle, elbow radius, end connection, material. Now you will see that depending on end connection and material, most of the pipe fittings can be categorized and the type of category is almost similar in all cases. Now based on fluid flow direction change angle, elbows can be divided into different degrees such as 45-degree elbow, 90-degree elbow, 180-degree elbow. These are the most common elbows. Some non-standard elbows are also manufactured as 60-degree elbow and 120-degree elbows. Mostly these are used for pipeline systems. As from this figure you can see that this is an example of 90-degree elbow. Here the angle change is 90-degree perpendicular. This is the 45-degree angle change is 45-degree. This is 180-degree elbow And this is an example of 60° and 120° elbow, which are normally non-standard. Now, depending on bend radius, piping elbows are of two types. They are long radius elbow and short radius elbow. Now, what are long radius elbows? In long radius elbows, center to face dimension is given by 1.5 times of pipe diameter, whereas for short radius elbows, the center to face dimension is 1.0 times the pipe diameter. Most widely used pipe elbow is the long radius elbow. Also, sometimes when there is space constraint or other requirements are there, during that time, short radius elbow is used. Now, depending on the pipe connection, piping elbows are classified as butt welded elbow, socket welded elbow, threaded elbow, flanged elbow, and depending on material of construction, there can be CS elbow, SS elbow, DSS elbow, plastic elbow, GRP elbow, aluminum elbow, copper elbow, etc. Now, T connection. Now, what are these T's? T's are used for dividing the main flow into two streams or to combine two streams into one. T is always normal or perpendicular to the pipe axis and normally produced by forging. Depending on the branch size, they are classified as equal T and reducing T. In case of equal T, the header pipe size and branch pipe size are equal. That's why it is called equal T. And for reducing T, the branch pipe size is lower than the run pipe or header pipe. Here in this diagram you can see this is an equality where the header pipe size and branch pipe size both are equal, and this is a reducing T where branch pipe is lower as compared to the run pipe size. Now, based on end connection, T's are also classified as socket welded, screwed ended, butt welded and flanged T's. Now, piping reducers. A pipe reducer is a type of pipe fitting that reduces the nominal bore from a bigger inner diameter to a smaller inner diameter. Means side changes. Means one side of the reducer is bigger and other side is smaller. Pipe reducers are reversibles and can be used in any direction. Means a reducer can be used to reduce a pipe size or to increase a pipe size. While increasing, we can call it expanders. And the same reducer can be used as an expander or as a pipe reducer. There are two types of piping reducers. One is called concentric reducers and the other is called eccentric reducer. In case of concentric reducer, the center line of the pipe on bigger end and smaller end remains the same, but for the eccentric reducers, there is an offset in between the center lines of the bigger end and the center line of the smaller end. Here you can see in this diagram that this is a concentric reducer. Here the center line of bigger size and the center line of the smaller end, it is same center line. And this is an eccentric reducer where the center line of the bigger size is different from the center line of the smaller side or smaller end. And this difference is called eccentricity, which can be calculated as bigger end ID minus smaller end ID by 2. Now, depending on the end connection, pipe reducers are grouped as butt welded, socket welded, screwed and flanged. They provide a positive seal and easy assembly as well as disassembly. They are widely used mainly for small bore piping and plumbing industries. Means for larger size pipe unions are usually not manufactured. They can be manufactured from carbon steel, stainless steel, cast iron, copper, nickel, aluminum, plastic, alloy materials depending on the temperature and service requirements. These are examples of unions. A pipe union has three parts: a male end, a nut and a female end. The female end has threads on the inside, whereas threads are outside on the male end parts. The nut provides the necessary pressure and seals the joint. Now couplings. Pipe coupling is a very short length of pipe or tube. It has socket or female pipe threads at one or both ends. Pipe couplings allow two pipes or tubes of equal or different sizes to be joined together to make a long pipe run. The various functions that a pipe coupling or coupler, these are also known as coupler, can serve are as follows. It helps to extend or terminate pipe runs. It can be used to change pipe size. It can be used to repair a broken or leaking pipe. These are examples of couplings. Means usually there are three types of coupling. The first is the full coupling. This one is the half coupling, and the bottom one is the reduced coupling. Now OLETs. Piping OLET is a self-reinforced branch connection used to connect small pipe branches from larger end main pipes, larger size main pipes. This is an alternative to pipe branching and are specially designed by a company called Bonnie Forge. Piping OLEDs are designed based on MSS SP97 or ASME B31.3. Different types of piping OLEDs are available like weld OLED, shock OLED, thread OLED, elbow OLED, nip OLED, lateral OLED, flex OLED, flange OLED, sweep OLED and cube OLED. These are the typical examples. This is weld OLED, this one is shock OLED, this one is thread OLED, this is elbow OLED, this is lateral OLED, this is cube OLED, this is sweep OLED, this is nip OLED, flange OLED, etc. Now valves. A valve is a mechanical element used in piping systems to start, stop, mix, control or regulate the flow or pressure of the fluid by modifying the passage through the pipe. Common types of valves can be self-actuated or manually operated or have actuators. Actuators of valves can be electric, pneumatic or hydraulic powered or a combination of any of the three or two. Valves are the most costly rigid piping components in a plant. They usually account for up to 20 to 30% of the overall piping item costs for a process plant. Depending on the function, valves can be classified into various groups like isolation valves. Those are gate, ball, plug, piston, diaphragm valve, butterfly valve, pinch valve. For regulation purposes, globe valve, needle valve, butterfly, diaphragm, piston, ball, plug, pinch. Non-return valves. Non-return valves means these valves will allow flow only in one direction. In opposite direction, it will not allow. These are check valves, swing check valve and lift check valve, and special purpose valves. Multi-port valves, flush bottom valves, float valves, foot valves, line blind valves, knife gate valves, etc. A valve consists of various parts. Typical parts are shown below. This is hand wheel, yoke, gland, thrust collar, bonnet, stem, body, disc, seat rings, etc. Now, flanges. A pipe flange is a circular disc-shaped piping component that attaches to a pipe for blocking or connecting other components like valves, nozzles, special items, etc. Wherever any dismantling of component is required for maintenance, inspection, replacement or operational purposes, piping flanged joints are preferred. Piping flanges use bolts and gaskets in between to ensure leakage-free piping joints. Piping flanges are selected based on pressure temperature rating and pipe class following ASME B16.5 or ASME B16.47 standard. Here ASME B16.5 is used for pipe sizes or flange sizes up to 24 inch. For higher sizes, we use ASME B16.47 standard. There are various types of piping flanges like weld neck flanges, slip-on flanges, lap joint flanges, blind flanges, socket weld flanges, threaded flanges, etc. This is a typical example of a weld neck flange. This is slip-on flange. This one is socket weld flange. This is threaded flange. This is blind flange. This is a raised face blind flange. Now, based on flange facings, the flanges are classified as raised face flanges, flat face flanges, ring type joint flanges, tongue and groove flanges, and male and female flanges. Adapters. Adapters as pipe fittings are used to connect dissimilar pipes, means not of same material. Different material pipes also can be connected using adapters. They are classified as locking pipe adapters, offset pipe adapter, male pipe adapter, female pipe adapter, straight thread adapters, etc. This is a typical example of various types of adapters. Now, cross. A pipe cross is also a popular four-way pipe fitting that consists of one inlet and three outlet connection or vice versa. They are not the popular they are not that popular in the oil and gas industries and seldom used. They are usually used in fire sprinkler systems. In piping crosses, four piping connections meet at one common point. This is a typical example of piping process. Piping crosses, you can see it here. The Y connection. Y pipe fittings are also called lateral connections, and the name Y came because it resembles the letter Y. Such type of pipe fittings are used in drainage systems and have a branch line at 45 degrees to keep the flow of water smooth. This kind of pipe fitting has low frictional loss and very low turbulence. This is typical examples of a Y connection. Caps and plugs. Caps and plugs are pipe fittings that are used to close the piping ends. They cover the piping ends and provide a tight seal. This is the example of caps, and this one is for plug. They are widely used in pipe dead ends or at future connections. Now, long radius bend. Long radius pipe bend are used for fluid transportation pipelines requiring pigging. Such pipe fittings has very less pressure drop and smooth flow due to their long radius and smooth direction change. Common long radius pipe bends are 3D and 5D pipe bends, where D stands for the pipe size. This is an example of typical pipe long radius pipe bend. Expansion joints. Pipe expansion joints or expansion bellows are highly engineered mechanical devices containing one or more metal or rubber bellows. Expansion joints are used to absorb dimensional changes caused by thermal expansion or contraction of a pipeline, duct, or vessel while containing the system pressure. So it can easily absorb the system pressure. It is designed for the system pressure, and at the same time it absorbs the thermal expansion or contraction. The flexible element of the expansion joint that expands or contracts to absorb the thermal movement is called bellows. It consists of one or more convolutions. This is an example of tied expansion bellow. This is the part of bellow. This is connected to be with flange. This is the cover, and this is the flexible element. Now, expansion joints used in industry are designed, manufactured and tested in accordance with EJMA, Expansion Joint Manufacturers Association. A steam trap. A steam trap is an automatic valve that allows condensate air and other non-condensable gases like carbon dioxide to be discharged from the steam system while holding or trapping the steam in the system. It increases the energy efficiency of the system. Steam traps separate out the condensate from the mixture to avoid two-phase flow formation. This is an example of steam trap. A barb. A barb is a useful pipe fitting used in the plumbing system. Barbs connect the flexible tubing to pipes. They have a male threaded end on one side and the other end has a single or multi-barb tube that is inserted in the flexible tubing. Now, what is a pipe branch connection? Pipe connection from a run pipe or header pipe of equal or lesser size in any degree of rotation or orientation is called a branch pipe. This branch connection is also called tapping connection. This helps to distribute fluid from main header pipe to different location or vice versa. Branch connections made onto operating pipelines are known as hot taps. There are various types of pipe branch connections like standard T fittings, standard OLED fittings, stub-in or stub-on branch connection. Now standard T and OLED fittings we just covered. So in the next slide we will only cover the stub-in or stub-on branch connection. Now stub-in versus stub-on. Stub-in or stub-on are methods for making a fabricated branch connection from the pipe. Both types are permitted by many of the international codes and standards, including SME B31. These are usually weak connections as compared to standard T or OLED fittings. Now, what is a stub-in? In case of a stub-in, a larger hole is drilled in the header or run pipe and branch pipe whose end is contoured similar to the inside diameter of the header is fitted inside the hole. Then both the stub-in branch pipe and the run pipe are welded together to form a connection similar to a reducing T. Stub-in is normally used when branch pipe is more than one size smaller than the main pipe. For stub-in connection, the branch pipe extends to the inside of the main pipe. Now what is stub-on? In case of stub-on branch connection, the hole that is cut on the run pipe is the same as the inside diameter of the branch pipe. The end of the branch pipe connection is contoured the same as the outside diameter of the header pipe and is then fitted outside the hole on the header pipe. It looks like the branch is seated onto the header pipe. Stub-on is generally used when the branch is equal to or one size smaller than the main pipe. For stub-on, the stub extends only to the outside of the main pipe. So that's all for now. I know that most of the terms I have explained in very short because each term itself could form one article which we will explain in future articles in details. For this specific article, that's all, and thank you for your time. Hope you liked my video, and if you really like my video then kindly subscribe my channel so that you can get future videos immediately when published, and don't forget to click on the bell icon. Thank you.